Hey, I'm Jamie Jones with Rouge Music Review, and we just caught up with Thomm Jutz. Is that how you say the last name?
Jutz, yeah.
At Romp Fest 2026 here in Owensboro, Kentucky. So, hey, Tom, tell us a little bit about growing up in Germany and how you made that transition, what inspired all of that.
Yeah.
Now, let's start there.
Well, I saw Bobby Bear sing on TV when I was 11 years old, and something snapped in my little kid's soul, and I decided I was going to play guitar and play country music, and that's what I did. That's the way it happened, and I just learned as much as I could about country music and discovered Doc Watson and then Tony Rice and people like that, and started traveling to the States in my early 20s with my wife, and she had lived in the States as a child. She always wanted to go back, and then we got a green card in the diversity lottery, moved here in 2003 and became citizens, and that's how it went.
And the rest is history. So
that's for you to say, not for me.
So growing up playing classical guitars,
Yes.
how did that change into what you're doing today?
Well, I think it was healthy for me to have that education. I actually started study classical guitar in university. My undergraduate studies were in guitar performance. And it just gave me a really solid foundation technically and in terms of music theory. And it's something that I still, I think, benefit from today. And in terms of switching from one kind of music to the other, if your heart's into it, that's not so difficult. The technique is obviously slightly different. But I don't know. I never thought there was too much of a discrepancy between the two worlds. I've always enjoyed having a foot in either world. And in a way, that's the story of my life, to live in two worlds, because I grew up in Europe and then moved over here. So,
yeah, I think, a broader palette like that actually enhances everything we do musically.
I think so, and there's so much of American roots music obviously goes back to Ireland and England, but also a good amount goes back to Germany and Bavaria, especially when you think about Mexican music, Norteño music, and the Organ and other. I enjoyed, studying all those styles and joining companion together.
Yeah. So you did a song in there earlier where you were talking about Del McCoury had cut the song. Tell me a little bit about that song and that experience of Bill cutting.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Del and the band. And I wrote this song called Jimmie Rodgers Rode a Train about 15 years ago with my friend Charlie Steffel, and we pitched it to Del, and we never heard back till about 2 years ago. And his manager said that sent me an email saying, Del, let's cut your song, and we need to get publishing information. And it was just a huge honor to hear Del sing a song about Jimmie Rodgers. The song is called Jimmie Rodgers Rode a Train. Two huge figures in American music. Jimmie obviously, but also Del, and to hear Del pay homage to a guy that greatly influenced him has really been for thing.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's probably influenced all of us.
All of us, of course. It's still one of my favorites and somebody I listen to all the time.
Another interesting area is you do the fingerstyle guitar, and my grandfather was cousins with Merle, and they used to play in the early days together. How did that side of that style of music, or did you pick that up, and then how that influenced you?
How did I pick that up? I think the first time that I consciously listened to fingerpick guitar was on that Doc Watson record that I just mentioned. It's a Doc and Merle. It's a record that Doc and Merle made together called Down South. And then from there, started listening to Leo Cotti and people like that. And then I realized that, that style of playing is actually even closer to the classical guitar style of playing because you don't play with the flat pick, you play with your fingers. So I've always traveled between the two worlds. I could never really make up my mind whether I'm a flat picker or a finger picker. I'm sort of not a great flat picker and also not a great finger picker, but adequate at both.
Well, you do a fantastic job with that today. Well, that. Tell us a little bit about your approach to songwriting.
Well, I read a lot and I study history a lot, American history, American musical history, and there's so much there that one can write about and think about. And I'm not always interested in writing about myself. I'm more interested in studying other characters and the stories of other characters. And so that's probably my main approach. And just, the job of the songwriter is to pay attention. So I just walk through the world with my eyes open and my ears open, hopefully, and try to tell the story of people that I see, of people's music that I enjoy, of artists that inspire me, and visual artists as well. I'm very image driven. A lot of historical photography is really important for me. And then, but also images that you can't see in the physical world, like the image of Jimmy Rogers almost dying during his last recording session, had to rest on a cot in the studio, and the next day he was dead. So what I sing in that song has actually happened. The last Blue Yodel is one of the last songs that is the last song that he recorded, and then he was dead. That's an image that's as alive to me as looking out there, although I wasn't there. There were a couple of people there, but nobody documented that in film or anything. But that doesn't mean that it's not alive. There's a difference between an image and a picture, although often an image has a picture element, but not every image is a picture that can live in your head.
You talked about a song that you had written, The Road was there long before it came through.
Yeah. That's a song that we wrote about Mac Wiseman. The lyric is, I could see you here in London. Oh, here. I could hear the highway calling long before the road ran. And that's what Mac, he didn't say it in those words, but that's what he told us when he was a kid, Mac Wiseman. And growing up on a farm in Virginia, he would see the evening train pass through the little town, and he said he could only see the silhouettes of the people, but he would always wonder, who are these people and where are they coming from? Where are they going? And then he wondered, maybe I could be on that train someday and go somewhere. And that was sort of what lit that fire in his soul, to start playing music and become one of the great Swiss musicians of the 20th century.
During that set, you also talked about some time with John Frank.
Mm-hmm.
You could elaborate a little on that.
Yeah, I knew John a little bit. I didn't know him well, but he recorded this song that Peter and Mac wrote together, and I was there at the session, and we talked about Mac, and we ran into each other at several different occasions in Nashville. He was a wonderful guy. He was quirky and funny, but also very professional. And when it came time to work, he took the work extremely seriously. And he was a huge inspiration to my friend Peter Cooper, who I wrote the song with, who passed away in 2020. And also a huge inspiration to me. And I still listen to him, and I still think about him all the time and how he approached music. I'm friends with a bunch of people who were in his band, and it's just a huge loss for the music community at large, but also for the Nashville music community. And those are shoes that nobody will be able to fill, and that's okay. Some people are so important. We don't need anybody to be half as good as that. We just live with the memory of people like Mac and John Donne, and I think that's the way we're approaching.
You had one other song that really kind of stuck with me, and there was a line in it where you said, "I see you every day."
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that, when you had written that about maybe your wife or
Oh, yeah. It's a song called "I Choose You" that Bastille Drivers wrote for you, and thank you. And it's a song about, my wife and I have been together for 41 years now. We met when she was 14 and I was 15. And people are often, when I tell that to people, they're often kind of shocked or surprised by that you can be together for such a long time. And they ask, how did you do that? And the only answer I can give is we did it one day at a time. Like we compromised and we stuck with each other and laughed a lot and still do. And so that's my expert advice.
Yeah, one day in time. It's been a great experience today. I really enjoyed your set, and I'm so glad you took the time to sit down
and I appreciate you asking me to do this, and I appreciate what you guys do.
So if the folks want to follow you, where can they find you on the World Wide Web?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm not much on Instagram because I don't really know what it is and how it works, and I'm not sure if I know it. But people can go to my website. It's thommjutz.com, ThommJutz.com.